Welcome to Floating Home. This is our first vlog for our boat that we recently bought. We are going to be turning it from a normal cruiser into an actual home on the water. A lot of people have been doing this lately, and it's because it's just really good for the soul, and it's really cost efficient compared to like buying a normal house. And I just like to be able to have a video recording of all of this stuff and show the world what it's like to take a boat from a refit kind of condition and turn it into an actual livable home. So without further ado, this is our new home on the water. She is a 42-foot Chris Craft Commander, 1978. She has two inboard 454 motors that keep her running. They work in great condition with just a little bit of here and there that I have to take care of since we bought her. We bought her for $21.5. Not like super expensive, but not super cheap. But you know, for what she is, she's completely sound. The hull has no issues at all. She floats. She's not going to sink. She's got some electrical problems here and there, but you know, nothing that we can't take care of type thing. I do apologize about the flag there, but it won't be flying much longer. It didn't last up in the wind as best as we thought it would. So let's kick it off right away. Let's get inside the boat and show you guys around. Welcome on board. So as I did say before, please keep in mind that this boat is absolutely in a refit stage. There is trash everywhere, there are walls torn apart, there is things all over the place. This is not meant to be pretty right now. This is our stage to be able to see where the leaks are, where things need to be replaced for wiring and stuff like that, and you know, if the engines need work type thing, which they do need a little bit. Nothing major, nothing that can't be replaced really easily. She is currently called the Smart One. We are not going to be keeping that name. In about 2 weeks, we will be having our naming ceremony. That'll be up here as well. I already have the vinyl for it and being able to cut it out and take care of it, get all that taken off and put it on. But to start, we are here in the lower helm. And as I said, as you can see from the overhead here, all of the stuff is torn apart and made so that we can actually get up in here and we can see all of these wires. But as I said, she's pretty much a mess. There's trash everywhere. There's the old liner that we ripped out. The helm is taken apart. We accidentally broke off one of our pieces for it while we were trying to work on it. But you know, it's detached so we can get in there and check everything underneath. It's kind of a mess. So like I said, please remember that this boat is definitely in a refit. Nothing is put together to be, you know, pretty and showy and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to kind of give a rundown of what we already have, what came with the boat. She came with a lot of bells and whistles and things that I already wanted that I was hoping that I didn't have to pay for. So we just kind of got lucky and that she had all of this stuff already pre-installed. Some of it needs to be kind of worked on a little bit. Some of it doesn't have its illuminating lights, and some of it just doesn't work. For example, our water temp gauge down here on the lower helm is definitely out of commission. It's completely stuck to the right. It does not cause the alarm to go off. The alarm actually works perfectly, thank God. The upper helm does work for the water temp, so even though, since I'm going to be up there most of the time, I'm not really worried about this one down here at the moment. It's kind of on the back burner kind of idea. But for the most part, everything else works. Like I said before, we've accidentally broke off a piece here. Not intentional, obviously. Not super worried about it either. It was a gas detector for the fumes down in the engine room. We're not extremely worried about it because we can do the sniff test like everybody talks about. We did pull a panel out, not knowing that there was a bracket behind it, trying to figure out how this came apart. We're going to have to glue that up and get it all taken together. But for the rest of it, we already have basically a speedometer for the boat. It gives us our distance and speed, a fish depth finder to be able to tell how deep the water is. We're not going to really be doing much fishing, not anytime soon at least. A hail intercom for the horn whenever we get it put back together. is currently disconnected, not working. Not a problem because the horn doesn't work right now either. The horn was taken off, it was disconnected by the previous owner, but we're going to get it back together. That is what actually this is for, the super horn, be able to make whatever horn noises we want to make, kind of like a Tesla. Not sponsored by them. Obviously our RPM gauge and our compass, so we can tell exactly how fast we're going, along with our speed, and where we're going on that. Like I said, the lights don't work for those. That's one of the few things that doesn't work. Obviously our transmission and our throttles, those obviously came with the boat. I hope they have those when they come in. Our radio, which I was really happy to already had because we're technically required to have this. It's not really technically we have to have it to be monitoring the distress channel the entire time that we're out. I don't use it much because being so new to the boating community, I am more of an introvert than an extrovert like I normally am. I don't know many people to talk to. I know a bunch of boaters apparently from my friend groups. Once I bought the boat, they kind of all popped out of little places here and there. But it's nice to know that I have people that can help, but I don't really talk to anybody on this. I still have to get used to that and see if I can figure it out. This also came with a autopilot. The autopilot does work. It needs to be kind of finicked around with, as I don't know fully exactly how to use it. But it does turn on. To my knowledge, all the buttons and knobs and stuff work as well. It's not made to autopilot you to your home. It's made to keep you on the course you're already going. So if you're heading exactly directly south, it'll keep the rudders in that direction so that you continue to stay south. Over here behind me is probably the most interesting piece of the entire boat so far that we've gotten, is our wonderful radar system here. This system is more of like, if you think about it, Captain Nemo, thinking about those more World War II, World War I type sonar type things in a way, with the actual like line that comes around, does the little booping with the lights. It currently does not work. We have to go through with it. I fully intend to find a way to get it working. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be really upset because I would really love to have that. It's a great conversation piece. If it doesn't work, I'll probably keep at least that in here just to have it to say, hey, we had this at one point. But for right now, it doesn't work, and we're going to have to figure out how to get it fixed. So stepping away from the helm now, as you can see, we obviously have a bunch of stuff everywhere that we're trying to take care of. All of our tools, the water that I bought to redo the coolant for the engines. Speaking of which, as we're coming down here into the salon, I currently have the floorboards up because I have been working on said engines. When we were on our way over from Seattle, where we bought the boat, we got over here with no issues, no overheating, nothing like that. But the moment that we went to go move from the public pier to the slip we bought, the port engine started to overheat extremely badly, and the alarm started going off, and we had to shut everything down, and we had to delay getting underway to move into our slip by a day. Come to find out, from what we know and from our testing, the coolant pump, which is right here, if it would focus, that is apparently leaking. We have to go through and actually make sure that that is what's leaking when the engine's running. But it does hold coolant. It does cool off once we refill it. We've tested that, made sure, that obviously, because we're in our slip and we haven't fixed that problem yet. But we're going to take care of that. We're going to get it done. And that way there, both of our engines will be running exactly perfectly how they're supposed to be running. As I said, we're running two 454 engines. They're basically giant truck motors with water coolant and antifreeze instead of air cooling through a radiator type idea. But we're going to get it all figured out. Here on the other side, as you can see right there, this is our wonderful pain in the butt Kohler generator. We will not be keeping that. This generator is actually broken. The throttle is stuck in open and the coolant is drained out because the coolant pump on that is also leaking. One of my jobs for today is to actually take that apart as much as I possibly can, because that is coming out of the boat. Currently, the boat does not have a house bank, so there's no power to the rest of the boat from there anyways. We're actually only getting power to the AC side of the house, all the outlets and stuff like that, from the shore power they're currently connected to. But that is coming out. That has an entire replacement that we're going to be doing here shortly within the next month. I will go over that and exactly what our plans for that are here. To give you a kind of better understanding of what our salon looks like, here she is. She's not exactly huge, but she's not exactly small. She's pretty wide. The boat has a 13-foot 10-inch beam. The walls are taken out on the starboard side due to the fact that there was a little bit of leakage from the intake inlets for the engine room, but those have been sealed off. They're going to be redone before we put the wall back up and, taken care of. Obviously, as I said again, our stuff is absolutely everywhere. We have torn some things of ourselves apart and just trying to, get through and see if everything needs to be taken care of and all that stuff. Like I said, you can look here. There's stuff all over the place. There's random drawers. There's wood. The previous owner gave us all this stuff to be able to try and take care of it. I've taken some walls out so that we could get through some electrical work. This is kind of reminding me of a scene from Treasure Planet. But yes, have a lot of things to go on, even in just this space by itself. It came with a newer fridge and a newer microwave, so we don't have to replace those. The stove works. It's got a nice cutting board built into it and 3 electric burners underneath. The oven does work as well, from what we've been told. I haven't actually been able to test it out because there's no point in cooking on board yet. But all this is going to be taken care of. I can install my own stereo system from what was taken out originally, going through all the circuit boards. And from here, we're just going to start back aft from the main stateroom and continue on our way up forward. Now that we've moved back aft, we've dropped down a few feet, as you can see. It's about a 3.5 to 4 foot drop to come down into the main stateroom. So it's a bit more chilly down here. Once we get the heat up and going and stuff like that, we'll be able to stay in here for a little bit longer than we have normally been able to. But like I said, again, everything's torn apart. All the drawers, the walls. We took the headboard apart at one point. Back there is our space for our rudders and our aft bilge pump, and I'm working on the stern lights through there right now. All of these little lights are going to be not replaced but fixed up and find light bulbs for them. They'll be perfect for reading because the girlfriend loves to read. We do have these shelves that don't have a purpose for inside of them. There's a piece of glass that goes over it. We do have those. They're really pretty. We're doing everything we can to keep them as safe and as clean and as scratch-free as possible so they can go back in there so that we can continue to use them. They're this beautiful black, the same that these doors are up here in that direction. But we're going to get that all taken care of. We do have, fortunately, a queen-size bed area. We have a bed at home that we're going to bring down here. It's going to be interesting trying to get it into the boat. Probably going to have to ratchet strap it together to fold it in half enough, but we are going to get our queen-size bed down here. We have a movable bed frame we're going to try and use, but we have to do some math on the electrical power and stuff to see if it actually works here. These are a lot of the walls that are being replaced. We just kind of had them here and out of the way when we're doing a lot of other stuff. Over here is our main closet. It's not exactly huge. The doorway is just short of 6 feet. This pole will probably get replaced because it's not exactly in the greatest condition. It's got some very minor pitting on it. But it's got enough space for us to store all of our clothes and everything else in here. Coming over here to the starboard side, we have our head for this main stateroom. The, as I said, toilet's taken apart. But as you can see when you're walking in, it's not extremely spacious, but it's pretty spacious for a boat. I mean, I have my sink here, my cabinet space for everything that we need. There's an entire stand-up shower in here. That can also be used for clothes storage when you're not currently using it. I do fit in here. I am 6'1". I can stand up without touching my head, but it is very much a shoulder-to-shoulder type space. So when the kids aren't here, we will not be using that shower. When the kids are here and staying up forward in the forward stateroom, which we'll get to here in a moment, we will be using the shower that they have up there because it's much nicer. We also have some storage here. This box and stuff is going to come out to try and open this up a little bit more. This was a electric heater that was in here. You could briefly see it inside the salon earlier. They are extremely power consuming. They're electric coils that heat up with a fan that pushes it through.
we just want to take it off the power system, kind of give the batteries a little bit more of a break as possible, and just make it so that we can have as much power as possible coming to this boat, so we can have everything else that we're going to be doing, because we have some other items like our gaming computers and stuff that we're looking to be able to bring down as well, but we're going to have to do some math, like I said before, to get all of that stuff on board and actually powered. But for the most part, this room is actually very spacious. It's a walk-around queen, like I was saying before. The window here on the starboard side needs to be worked around and sealed off, as the original seals have come loose from the years. It is a 50-year-old boat almost. So the original seals cord have just kind of flexed enough that it started leaking, but they're going to be taken care of. We're going to get those taken out and resealed up. So moving up forward now, we're going to come up to the forward stateroom. As you can see, we're going to walk down this kind of tight walkway here, not extremely tight. It does close up above our heads, so the kids can have their own doorway in here. We've got to work around it a little bit, maybe grease it up a little, because it doesn't slide very well right now. But once you get down through here, the space, from head is still pretty good. I know I can move up and down. We do intend to leave all of this space up in here empty, use it for storage, get all these wires figured out and stuff coming from the shore power. But use this kind of like an attic for things that are winterized and summerized and stuff like that. This is the kids' bunk area. It doesn't seem that big from the video, but these are probably a little bit bigger than twin size areas. We're gonna have to get custom mattresses made for these, but basically obviously one kid here, one kid there. I'm gonna install railings and stuff so that when the boat rocks back and forth, we don't have a kid falling out of a bed, because that would just end really badly. These are those pieces of glass I was telling you about, the really pretty tinted black glass. They're kind of dirty right now because I've been here for so long. But these pieces of glass are going to get put back into where they need to go, because these would look really gorgeous in the room to kind of give that accent to it. All the tools you see here actually came with the boat. The guy left it all for us, and we're going through it all and seeing what actually will work, what's no good anymore. This caulking tube, just from looking at it from right here, has been used and is no good anymore, so we're gonna have to throw it out. But there's a couple paint pins, there's a whole bunch of screws and stuff, there's gloves and everything else. Moving over to the other side here, we have a closet space here that has a window in it. We're not sure exactly what we're going to put in here just yet. We think that we're going to let the kids use it as a closet. We might use it as some storage space. We're not sure. The kids will only be here for maybe like 2 weeks at a time, so we're thinking about using this space as more of a storage unit area rather than using it for a closet, because there's not really much of a point for it for them, mainly because they have these drawers here. We're going to extend these drawers out a little bit and give them a better track to run on, and probably replace them just because of the fact that they're so gross. But just kind of give them a little bit more space so that they have more than just these 3 that are here to be able to put all their clothes and stuff in. They actually have this table here too. It's kind of hidden away. It's a little neat thing, so that they can do whatever they want here, or if someone needs to sit on it or something like that, they can do so. Or if one of them wants to like do video gaming or something, they can bring their laptops up. So, like I said before, my girlfriend, whose name is Sam, she is down in Oregon currently right now, seeing her 2 kids, Astonis and James, the ones that I've been talking about. She will be back in about 2 weeks, so these videos, you probably won't see her very much, not at least for a little bit. When she comes back, she'll be in a lot of them. But here, all the way up forward, our last part of the boat on the interior is our forward head. What you're looking at here is actually our forward shower. This boat, instead of doing a V berth, has decided to do a V shower. I'm not sure exactly what else to call that there, but it's pretty unique from what I've seen from other boats. We're going to replace the shower head and the actual knobs and stuff like that here, but I would love to be able to use this shower just as a normal handheld shower piece here, with the seat and the opening up here on the bow where we can leave the screen in but open the top for ventilation to let some of the steam out if we want to, and still be able to have kind of the exterior As you can see, this needs to be painted after it gets stripped because it's been like this for so long. These cabinets here are going to be used for some storage, but not a lot. As you can see, it's literally just an empty space on this side. We're probably going to build something there to be more storage. On this side here, though, we can't really do much as this is our anchor chain spot. We're going to have to see if we can get that to be a little bit more neat instead of just piling up in the corner there. But for in here, you have your little steps here to be able to do whatever you need to do, and our toilet that again needs some work. Our sink that we're going to replace quite a bit, the whole sink bowl, the faucet head. The mirror is probably going to come out and probably going to get a new one, as that one's probably messed up a little too much. We might keep it just because the center, enough of the center here is still good. We can make a border that covers all this up and just have kind of a smaller mirror, but make it look nice. The other reasoning why we would want to shower a lot more is because there's a lot more storage space. There's all this storage space in these cabinets, and underneath the sink, the mirror itself is storage as well. You're gonna probably just end up using that shower a lot more when we actually move onto the boat and start doing everything here. But for the most part, that's the actual full inside of the boat. We can go outside really quickly and show you all of that, and then I'll start getting into the little nitpicky things about certain systems. So walking out here, coming through our canvas that comes around the lower helm, which is a little difficult to get through right now while we're still trying to figure some stuff out. We haven't exactly figured out how to easily get through this in and out, but we'll figure it out. It's just a little difficult right now. But coming on up here on our little walkway path here to the bow of the boat onto this beautiful day. For once, it's not raining while I'm here, thank God. I'll come out here on the bow of the boat. I'll kind of give you a view of what it looks like. Now that we've given a rundown of what the boat looks like, where she is, and all that stuff, we can get a little bit more into the nitpicky side of things. For the exterior of the boat, not a lot needs to be done. It needs to be repainted. The wood needs to be taken care of a little bit. Some of the masts, like this one here, need to be repainted for sure. I actually just got this up recently. There's 2 pieces of wood that are meant to sit up here that need to be painted and put into place. Our horn needs to be put on. The radar mast up top needs to be fixed up and sealed off because it's leaking just a tiny bit. Our hatches need to be looked at. The windlass needs to be looked at, but not really. The windlass still works. It brings the anchor up. We just haven't figured out how to release it just yet. Not with the specific model that we have. But I do intend to just basically go around, pull sealants. If I don't need to, I won't touch it. But if a sealant looks bad or it looks like it's gonna be leaking sometime soon, we're gonna rip it off and we're gonna remake it. So now that we're back inside the boat, we're gonna start here and we're gonna go over the little nitpicky things in here. To start, I'm gonna talk about how the overhead is gonna be redone. We're not gonna continue going with this kind of really thin perforated material. We're gonna be looking more into material that can kind of go up to the fiberglass, come down, go across the rivet, and then back up to the fiberglass again to kind of give the open headspace kind of idea, especially with me being so tall. We're going to rip out the carpet like I think I talked about already. It's not the blue that's really bad, it's stained, it's old, it's sat for a long time, it's wet on one or the other side. There's some stuff on Amazon that I'm going to show that we're going to get. It's a wood looking type foam that is non-water absorbent. It's got a non-skid material. It'd be perfect for us coming on and off the bow and days that it's getting wet and the water's coming in here so we don't slip or anything else like that. I'm not too worried about the stuff that has to do with the helm. A lot of that stuff is more electrical based, but all the things that I need to work do work. So it's kind of on the bottom of my list of getting that stuff done. Specifically getting the radar going. Not super concerned about it. I'm not going to be really taking the boat out that much, and if I do, it'll be on a really nice day like this where it doesn't get foggy. And I will be, making sure that I get out and come back without having any issues. Our running lights do work, so the anchor light and all that stuff, and the spotlight, we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So even if we got stuck out there for a while, and it did get foggy or anything else like that, we wouldn't have an issue with lights and things. But I'm not really worried about that stuff. The floor and the overhead is really the only things out here that need to be addressed, and the small leaks that we have talked about. So up here on the bottom of the mast, it was very small, like 1 drop per minute type leak. I think the heavy rain that we had one day just kind of got into the nooks and crannies and places that shouldn't be open. The only leak I'm even slightly concerned about is right here. This is leaking from somewhere, we're not sure. The wood is kind of wet right here. It leaks a little bit every time it rains. It's not like a flow, it's just very slow droppage, and we're going to take this entire light out. We don't need this light fixture. I think I said before, the lights we're going to do are all rechargeable battery powered. We're going to replace this with one of those lights and just take this whole bottom piece of wood out. We're going to leave the parts that's already cemented to the fiberglass on so we don't ruin anything, but this whole bottom piece is going to come out with this light, the wires for it. We're going to just take it all out, not have to worry about it anymore. Other than that, up here, there's not really anything else to address. I mean, we got to make, I guess, a door piece for the top of this that can kind of like prop up so we can go in and out but have it closed off. But there's not much else up here. I mean, it's all very simple cosmetics and stuff like that. Nothing is structure-wise. So up here will be really easy, but it's down below where we're going to go right now. Then I'm going to be showing you the more difficult, nitpicky things. So coming on down here, back into the salon where we were, is the wonderful engine room that we're going to have to be fiddling around with. I think I talked about it already. Our main engine on the port side needs to have some work done to it. The coolant pump is the pump that we are like 90% sure is leaking and is what the coolant is burning off through. So I have to replace that. Once that's replaced, the boat will be perfectly sound for moving and, floating and everything else like that. The other big thing down there is that Kohler generator I was talking about that I need to get rid of. Some of you might be asking, well, you're getting rid of your generator. How are you supposed to power the house side of your boat? And that's a very good question. We actually have the intention to pull that generator so that we're not trying to fix it. The throttle's stuck and open, and the coolant pump on that is also broken. Not something I really want to deal with, especially because I've been told by a few friends that the Kohler motors are only good for like 500 to 1,000 hours, and I'm pretty sure she's well past that. So we're going to see if a shop up in Paulsbo will be taking it for me. If not, we're just going to dump it. We're just going to get rid of it, or maybe try and sell it on Amazon for a couple $100 and just see if someone takes it. Someone might want it for their house or something like that. Who knows? People are, all over the place for Facebook Marketplace. But in place of that, we're going to be doing solar panels instead. They're just, from my experience and the things that I've seen, just way more efficient. We're going to be running those solar panels down to a house bank that we're going to make up. It's going to be built for 3 to 5 batteries, depending on how much power we're going to need for the boat. And from those batteries, it's going to go to an inverter charger. We're currently looking at a 4,000 watt one that we're intending to buy. The 4,000 watt should be able to support everything on the boat that we could possibly need. The microwave, the fridge, our gaming setups that we're going to have, any lights that are still connected to the house side, which most of them won't be. They'll be those battery operated ones. But that's the intention for the power side for the house, and getting rid of that Kohler. That also takes a lot of weight off the boat. We'll have to make sure that we kind of counteract it if we need to. In its place, though, I'm probably going to be putting the heating system that we're going to put into the boat. Like I said before, we're getting rid of those electrical heaters. They take way too much of a power load off of those batteries, and I just don't want them here anymore, especially for the winter. A friend of mine who lives up the shore on a boat has bought a generator that creates forced air throughout the boat, so it's like your house. We're going to be looking at the gas version of it. He got the diesel version because he has a diesel boat. The gas for the engines and for that will work perfect since it's both the same at that point. That way there we don't have to worry about any power fluctuations or drawing too much power off the batteries to try and heat the house. Even though we're going to insulate the boat to make it so that we don't have to heat as much, that will make it so that we don't have to ever worry about heat. You just dump some fuel in it, turn it on, and boom, there you go. We are going to be using probably about a gallon of gas every 2 days, so it's about 8 hours for a gallon of gas, running with that heating system. With the boat being insulated, it shouldn't be more than a gallon of gas for every 2 days, so it's about 60 to 70 bucks a month from what we priced out, so it's not too bad. Then once that's out of there and the heater goes in its place, we are going to move on to the plumbing system, which is probably going to be the worst one possible. Our toilets, as you saw, are decent but not in great shape. I don't think they need to be replaced, but they definitely need some work done, and the plumbing is not hooked up, so I'm going to have to suffer and hook up the plumbing. Some of it was taken out, but some of it is still here, so like that Y pipe that we need is still here. I believe the pump for it is still here, I think. I don't even know if it needs a pump, to be honest. I haven't looked into that system enough yet. But the giant white tank that you saw down there in the engine room, that's our Blackwater tank. That was just put in. It's a brand new one. It's never been used. Thank you for that, to the previous owner for doing that. So I don't have to try and hook up to a tank that's already been used. It smells. But we're going to have to run the toilets to those and get those all set up and make sure that we're good to go there. The other part of the plumbing house is, right now there are gray water tanks on the boat. I'm not sure where, but they're going to be taken out. I don't want the gray water tanks anymore. We're looking more towards having it dump overboard because we're going to be spending a lot of our time off of the slip. The moorage that we have is not a liverboard status currently, and you can only stay 3 nights in port. The other rest of the nights have to be out of the slip or you have to be off the dock for the night. So our intentions are to do 3 nights here in the slip and then do 4 nights out on the open water. We're getting a new dinghy today in the afternoon to replace the one that we have that you can kind of see in the beginning of the video right in front of the boat. That one's a bit too big, it's a bit too shallow, it's not really made to have a motor engine on it, but the person I got it from was a close friend, just didn't need it anymore. It was something really cheap for us to use for the current time being that we had. And we're going to get rid of that so that we can get the inflatable one that we're looking at getting and put it on the back of the boat. That'll just work out a whole lot better because we can deflate it and everything else and not have to worry about the waves from the ferry that lives next to us. But those are really like all the nitpicky systems and stuff like that. I mean, there's some like obviously nitpicky like electrical systems I have to do. I have to kind of get in and organize the mess that's behind that wall over there and get the AC set of the house to make sure it's working perfect and that we're not going to trip any breakers or anything else like that. And going through like all of the rooms and just making sure the lights work and stuff that we're not going to be hooked up, that aren't going to be like battery powered, that are going to actually be part of the system. So like there's rooms in the engine compartment that run off the 12-volt system. Maybe trying to look about changing those to like LEDs type thing so that they're not drawing as much power when they're on. So if I have to go down there for anything, I'm down there for a few hours. It's not going to kill the batteries. But all in all, she's a very sound boat. And she is going to treat us really well. We already know that. And we're going to treat her very well. We are going to have to tear her apart to get her to that point. But we will get her to the point where we can live comfortably and it's only constant maintenance instead of constant redoing and refit and being tied to a pier constantly. We fully intend to be able to have my parents come out and stay, have her kids come up and stay, and just be able to live life and enjoy it on the water rather than being stuck to the shore. Because like we were planning for next year in 25, my parents are coming out here to Washington State to do PAX Northwest, and while they're here, they're going to come out for probably about 5 or 6 days before the actual convention, come and stay on the boat with us, and we're going to go up to the San Juan Islands. It might be a little chilly, to be honest, because it's like August time frame, but it should still be pretty warm. knowing Washington, there should be plenty of days where it's still pretty warm. And then we're going to head up to the San Juan Islands, go up there and kind of have like our own little getaway vacation that's like not super expensive to us because we own the boat, and it's not going to, you know, be paying someone else to do everything. We're doing it ourselves, and we're literally taking our home with us, so we don't have to get anywhere to live. We just sleep here. But all in all, I think that things are going to go really well, and we are excited. We're very excited, and we hope that anybody that watches this continues to watch and keep up with us. This video will go up on Facebook and YouTube for now, and probably an Instagram that I'll end up making for it as well. I want to thank you all for watching, whoever has watched, and we will see you next time, which should be sometime soon. Keep a lookout. The next video should be coming out within a couple days, maybe a week or something like that, depending on exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing a lot on the boat, so it's probably going to be a couple days, depending on if I can get time to edit the video. But again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.